Hey guys, Richard Blaine here. Thanks for stopping by my easy cooking and gear review channel. Tonight I am not going to be cooking for you. Tonight, for the first time after 6 years of doing videos for you, tonight I'm going to be doing a giveaway. Tonight I'm going to be giving away a knife. Tonight I'm going to be giving away this knife. This is a two-bladed Barlow. Tonight I'm going to sharpen this knife for you. I'm going to give it a custom hand ground edge, and I'm going to use it as a giveaway for you. Now, part of the giveaway is this. Every now and again at the store where I work, we come across knives in boxes that people sometimes bring us. They don't want these knives, or we buy a bunch of knives and we find these laying at the bottom of the box, and for the most part we consider them quote-unquote junk knives. They're not sellable to anybody. They're a little bit used, a little bit beaten up, and I myself pick some of these out and I fix them up and I give them to people that are looking for a quality knife but don't have a lot of money to spend, and I just give them to them. Basically what I do is I rescue the knife, not much different than the way I rescued my dog Riley. I rescue the knife, I fix it up, and I give the I give the knife life. And I came across this Barlow, and it was in really good shape except for a little patina and a minor amount of rust. It's like, wow, basically has its factory edge on it. This knife still has life. So I fixed it up, I cleaned it up. I'm going to sharpen it and use it as a giveaway. And part of the giveaway rules is you must be a subscriber to my channel. You must live within the United States. And what I want from you is, just as I adopted the knife and fixed it up to give it life, I would like you to tell me in the comments why you would like to adopt this knife and give this knife a life. There's no sense in throwing it away and wasting it. This knife has plenty of life left in it. So as usual, let's get going. I'll get sharpening and I'll talk a little bit more about this knife. All right, so the knife I'm talking about giving away is this knife here. This knife is a Barlow knife. It is probably the oldest knife pattern in history, invented in 1660 in England by a guy named John Furness. This one says Barlow right here. It's made by the Imperial Knife Company of Providence, Rhode Island. This knife was made sometime between 1960 and 1980 because Imperial Providence Knife Company has long been out of business. It's not a very expensive knife. Probably when this knife was made, it cost less than $3 brand new in the box. It's nothing fancy. It doesn't have to be fancy. It's got some patina. I've cleaned it up. All right. I cleaned it up as best I could, but what I noticed about this knife when I took it out of the pile and adopted it is it basically had its original factory edge. This knife has been carried in the pocket and used, but it's never really been sharpened up. So that's what I'm going to do here. The reason I want somebody to adopt this knife is, even though it's an inexpensive $2 or $3 knife from back in the day, it has excellent quality 1095 carbon steel blades, and the knife still has lots of life in it. So I adopted it, fixed it up, cleaned it up, and I'm going to give it away. I want somebody in my sub list to tell me why they want to adopt this knife and give this knife a life. As I said, it's not a super expensive knife. It's not fancy schmancy. It's a user, and this knife has plenty of life left in it to use. So tell me why you want to adopt it. Tell me why you want to give this knife life, and I'm going to sharpen this knife for you right now. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my diamonds, and everybody who knows me, who's watched my sharpening videos, knows I'm a big fan of DMT diamonds. This is the DMT Blue 325 grit, 325 mesh, and I'll feel for the angle, and I will start to sharpen this knife on the 325 grit mesh to create the edge that I want, and then I will refine it with higher grits along the way. I'm going to work this for a couple of minutes on the 325 grit to create the edge that I want to create, and then we're going to move on to the next highest grit. I work the edge for about 5 minutes, a little less, and if you can see, I've created my bevel, I've created my grind on both sides, if you can see it. Okay. Now, I'm going to work the blade on a 600 grit mesh diamond for a minute or two to refine the scratches from the previous grit mesh, smooth it out, refine the scratch, and then I'm going to move on to the next highest grit, which will be a 1200 grit mesh. But for right now, I'm going to work this knife on a 600 grit mesh and get it sharper and sharper and sharper, and I'll be back in a bit. Now, I don't know if you can see it, but at 600 grit mesh, that edge has gotten a little bit shinier. Can you see that? Nice hand grind. Now, this green diamond is a 1200 grit mesh, and I'm going to work this blade, this edge, for about 2 minutes, maybe 3, on the 1200 grit mesh. And then I'm going to move on to actually a 2200 grit synthetic ceramic block. So here I go, 1200 grit mesh, and I'll be back in about 2 minutes. All right, can you see that edge? Nice and polished. And I'm going to polish it even more. This is my Spyderco Model 302 UF Ultra Fine Ceramic, and I am going to put a high polish on this edge with this alumina ceramic block, and then we're going to move on to my black translucent Arkansas for the final touch. All right, I finished with the 2200 grit alumina ceramic. I don't know if you can see the polish on that edge, but it's a high polish. And now I'm just going to finish it off with my favorite natural stone. This is a translucent black Arkansas, very light touches. Arkansas stones are measured in density, not in grit, but the equivalent density of a translucent black Arkansas is roughly about 4,000. This is a bit much. You know, usually I never go beyond 2,000 or 3,000 grit polish on my pocket knives, but I'm going to do this 4, just for the sake of being able to say, hey, you got a mirror polished, hand done edge, no gadgets, no wicked edge, no blah blah blah, all done by hand, the old-fashioned way. I'm going to do about 2 minutes on this knife, and we'll be done. There it is, guys. If you can see that edge, polished at 4,000, there it is. All done. Here we go, get the light on it. All done. Now, I'm going to do the same procedure on the second blade, and I'm going to do it off camera in the interests of saving video time, but here it is. So as I said, drop me a line in the description box. Why do you want to adopt this knife as I did? Why do you want to adopt this knife and give this knife a good life? Let me know. I'm going to let the sweepstakes here, I'm going to let the giveaway run for 30 days, and then I'm going to choose somebody, and I'll contact them, get an address, and ship it to them. So let me know. Why do you want to adopt this knife? Why do you want to give this knife a life? Once again, guys, I want to thank you for stopping by my Easy Cooking channel tonight, and I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to hearing from you, telling me why you want to adopt this nice little knife. Like I said, not the most expensive knife in the world, $2 or $3 when it was brand new, but good quality 1095 carbon steel blades, lots of life left on this knife. somebody needs to adopt it and somebody needs to give it life. Tell me why you want to adopt this knife and give it life, and I will be more than happy to send it to you. Remember, you must be a subscriber, you must live within the continental United States, and I will get to the winner in 30 days. Thanks for watching. See you on the next video. Good luck and take care.